You're listening to Confidence with Katie, a podcast created for ambitious, savvy women who are ready to embrace their inner badass. If you're ready to figure out exactly what you want and how to get there, well, I want you to jump on in and join me, executive coach, public speaker, fire starter, and your podcast host, Katie Langford. Hello, I'm Katie, and I am ecstatic that you are here for Confidence with Katie, episode number 24, Rest. You know, in a society where we wear busy like a badge of honor, it is so easy to feel guilty when we need to step back. Have you ever felt like that? I resist it for as long as possible, but today I have to admit something. Y'all, I am so tired. I know there is more to do, and I know that I have big goals and big dreams, and they certainly aren't going to be accomplished without me just freaking going after it. But sometimes we all hit a wall, and in this episode, I'm going to tell you a little bit more about mine. Today, we're talking about why slowing down and resting is important. Scratch that. It is essential to our ability to go after our goals. But before I dive in, I want to tell you about this week's Badass of the Week. This week's Badass of the Week goes to none other than my amazing mom, Mary Jo. You see, Mary Jo, aka MJ, aka Mom, she is my biggest champion and cheerleader. For as long as I can remember, Mom has told me that I can go and be and do and have every single thing that I want. She is the woman that I call when I am excited and have news to share. And she's the first one to call me when she's worried about me. And in fact, just the other day, as I was looking into this idea of rest, she called me and said, "Are you okay?" I don't know if she has telepathy or what it is, but she just knows. She knows who I am, and most of the time, she knows exactly what I need. After talking to her and telling her what was going on with me, she gave me this advice. Rest. Slow down. Babe, you can do this, but you don't have to do it all right now. I don't know what your mom's like, but I'm hoping that she's just as badass as mine. I am so grateful for my incredible mom. I really don't think that I would be here today if it weren't for her. So I want to say thank you, Mom, for always being there for me. Thank you for teaching me what it is to be a badass. And thank you for inspiring me to get out and talk my talk and walk my walk. This week, while we talk about rest, I want to dedicate this to you because you always know exactly what I need. So with that said, let's dive right back into our topic. This episode was inspired by the simple fact that when I sat down to write this episode, I found myself exhausted. I am too busy. I am going 1,000 miles per hour and I cannot stop. Let me rewind and tell you a little bit about the past few weeks. This is my story, but I know so many of my listeners have the exact same timeline, just different events to fill in. Between March 1st and today, here's what I've been doing. First, I moved my home office into the Slate. As you know, the Slate is the new female-focused co-working space here in Dallas. But moving, y'all, moving. So not only did I have to move everything from my house to my office, set up a new office, get totally used to a new office, but then I had a new room in my house that I had to figure out what I wanted to do with. And I kind of still wanted a little bit of an office back there. So I moved. At the same time, we were doing a major landscape project at our house. Shane and I also hosted a couple's baby shower for 80 people at our house. Yes, I know, 80 people. 98 people RSVP'd. I was pretty excited when only 80 came. And yes, our friends know absolutely everyone in the world. The next week, I chaired the Junior League of Dallas auction event. It was an event that my committee and I had been working on for over a year. an event with over 500 people where we raised multiple tens of thousands of dollars. The next week, I had an incredible speaking engagement with Fossil and the nonprofit Step Up, which is a national organization that works with high school girls. On top of all of this, I launched a new free online training called The Mistakes Job Searchers Make and How to Fix Them. I recorded all of the new audio classes for my online masterclass, How to Get a Job You Love. My husband was out of town 2 weekends during all of this time. I launched an entirely new Facebook campaign. Oh, not to mention that I had 2 video shoots and a photo shoot. Oh, and somehow Shane and I managed to squeeze in a trip to Minneapolis to the NCAA National Championship game when Texas Tech played. Y'all, it has been an incredible 8 weeks. But I don't feel like I ran a marathon. I feel like I just ran 7 back-to-back marathons. And I am tired. And yet there is so much in front of me still to do. Have you ever felt this way? Have you ever felt like you just keep going with no end in sight? Are you tired? Exhausted? Burnt out? Ready to crash? I told you at the beginning of the episode that I feel so guilty when I need to step back, especially when my dreams and goals and to-do list don't seem to want to let me take a break. And yet, here is what also happened over the past 8 weeks. I completely disconnected from my prayer and journal time. I drank way more alcohol than I need to. I stopped dreaming and thinking and giving myself space to be creative. I've been whiny and negative and irritable. I distanced myself from people I love. And guess what? It's no longer working. When I sat down to write the content for this podcast, I had nothing. Sure, ideas were swimming in my head, but I really could not put 2 sentences together. Has this ever happened to you? When you just run yourself ragged and then all of a sudden you get so far away from who you are and who you want to be that you stop recognizing yourself? Or worse yet, you start beating yourself up? Or you just can't seem to do the things that are making you tired? Enough was enough. And even though I felt like I should feel guilty for taking the day to rest and recover, I decided to push through that guilt. And this leads me to our easy 1-step solution. When you are about ready to crash, I want you to rest instead. Here's what I did last week, even though my to-do list remained the same. Last Monday, I spent the entire day outside at one of the true gyms in Dallas, the Dallas Arboretum. I took my shoes off and I walked on the grass. I watched little kids turn cartwheels. I smelled the amazing flowers. I journaled. I prayed. I slowed down. And in the midst of doing this all, when I actually finally let go, I started to have creative ideas. So I wrote them down. Then I shut my journal and I stared at the lake. When I felt like I was refreshed, I drove home with the windows down. That evening, I made a promise to myself to step back into my prayer and journal time and my daydreaming and giving gratitude. And for the first time in almost 2 months, I started to feel more and more like myself. But that's not all. The rest of the week, there was still plenty of things to do. And yet on Wednesday, when the weather in Dallas was supposed to turn just absolutely nutty, I decided to take another day to rest. I did a couple of calls from home, but I never got out of my pajamas. And in fact, I took 2 naps. I really reached into that prayer time and that journal time. I looked into a new meditation app that a friend told me about. And I took time to just stop. You see, it was the resting, not the pushing through it, that allowed me to make the progress that I did last week towards my goals. And last night, as I went to bed on this Sunday evening, I was excited to come to the office. I was excited to think about how I was going to talk to you and help my clients, what I was going to do, and who I was going to bring. So, have I convinced you? Are you ready to pull yourself out of your busy for a few days, maybe just even a few minutes to rest? If so, I have a few parameters for you to consider to truly make it productive. Here are just a few ways that you can rest. 1, take the day off. If you have time and you can get away, take it off. Go for a walk. Visit a park. Meditate. Pray. Journal. Read a book. Take a bath. Now, here are things that I don't think count as rest. Playing on your phone. Y'all, we're going to have a whole episode dedicated to how addicted I am to this silly thing. Watching TV. Yes, you might zone out, but what the rest I'm talking about is not about zoning out. It is about connecting to your most inner self. When you are looking at any kind of screen, whether it's your laptop or your iPad or your phone or a TV, you are just not able to connect with your inner self. Believe me, I've tried them all and they just don't work. So I've told you the story of getting lost in my busyness, losing my inspiration, and taking a day to myself to take a break. And maybe you're asking why it felt so important to me to share it with you. Well, I don't share all of this with you to brag or make you feel bad. And really, I have to admit, I'm actually a little embarrassed that as someone you turn to for advice and confidence building, I have to admit to you that I am not Wonder Woman. I share this with you because I see you. I see you running from one thing to the next. I see you doing big things in your career. I see you raising those babies. I see you doing kick-ass things to make your community and world a better place. And I see you forgetting about yourself. I see you failing to take the time to rest because you feel guilty, like you should just be doing more. So here's what I want to tell you. You are a badass, but you are not Wonder Woman. You were designed to rest. The definition of rest is to cease work or movement in order to relax, refresh oneself, or recover strength. Y'all, let me read that one more time. The definition of rest is to cease work or movement in order to relax, refresh oneself, or recover strength. See, we think that we are strong when we just keep going. But in order to be strong, in order to be refreshed, in order to be connected with who we are and the higher power that has given us this life, you need to rest. Because when you rest and when you relax and when you refresh yourself and you recover your strength, you are able to connect to the part of you who can do great things. And that, friend, that's what this podcast is all about. It's always been about that. I want to thank you so much for listening today. As always, my goal is to inspire you. It is to help you feel more confident and help you get exactly where you want to go. If you haven't already, will you please subscribe to Confidence with Katie? This is how we get our message out to the people who need to hear it. Will you rate us? Will you leave a comment? And will you share with a friend? See, one of the things that I know about being a woman and having incredible women friends is that I'm not the only one in my group that needs to rest. And I guarantee you, you're not the only one in your group. So forward this to one of your sisters. Remember, our goal is to inspire, motivate, and impact the lives of women just like you. Thank you for listening to Confidence with Katie. I hope the episode helped you feel more empowered to take control of your dream life and dream career. Go start igniting those fires and embrace your inner badass. Until next time, badasses.